Hi everyone, welcome to the first of my videos for the brand new group on Smeared and Smudged forum, Cheapskate Crafter. I'm so excited about this. What I thought I'd do, being the very first tutorial that's going to go on, is also going to tie in quite nicely with the first of the month, which means new challenge day. So I'm going to tie this in with the Junk Funk challenge, which is to use toilet rolls. I'm sure that most of you have probably seen or have had a go at making a toilet roll scrapbook, and that's what I'm going to show you how to make now. So if you have already made one of these before and you know exactly what you're doing, then I apologise that this video is completely useless to you. I promise there will be lots of other things coming real soon that will be of more use. For those that haven't made one, keep watching and we'll go through the whole thing together. This is one that I've made previously. I may or may not get around to showing how to do a cover for this one today. I might leave that and use some other kind of junk at some point in the future. This is the inside. And not actually the best way of holding the whole thing together because it is just threaded through some ribbon. But this is the idea. So each one of these is toilet roll. There's only actually 3 in this one. I'm going to make the one today with 4. Each one decorated with the room inside for little tags, photos, journal mats, whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Right, first thing you're going to need then are your toilet rolls. I've already kind of squashed these ones down just out of habit. As soon as they're finished with, I tend to squash them down. Now I know some people, you know, be bothered about germs and things like that. All you need to do with these is just pop them into your microwave for 30 seconds. Or some people have said about putting them in the freezer. The only thing I find with that is mine, they go soggy. Maybe if you put them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer first. I don't know. I prefer to just chuck them in the microwave. Quick zap, and anything that might have been on them will be dead. You will need to flatten your tubes before we get going. You can either put them under something heavy. You could spend a little while maybe with a bone folder. I like to just whiz mine through the big shot. If you haven't got one of these, though, there are loads of ways of doing it without needing to buy one. This will be your base for making your little scrapbook. There are loads of other things you can use these for as well. You can use them for if you're making a scrapbook of other kind. You can actually just wrap these with, use some nice paper on them, or even paint them, seal at one end and use them as little tag holders, mini envelopes. You could take your circle punch out a semicircle if you're putting tags in, just to make them a little bit easier to pull out. You can even actually just use these as tags, stick them down together, or even cut them in the middle to give you your 2 pieces, trim off the ends, hole in the top, and there you go, some quick, easy, cheap and quite sturdy tags. Right, but for this one we're going to make, I'll show you how to make the scrapbook. Right, I've just been to fetch some papers to cover this up. I had to plug the camera in as well because it was about dead. Alright, I thought you might like to see as well my boxes. I have been trying not to buy anything new for the whole of this year. And so far, I mean, it's working really well. I haven't really, especially papers, I haven't bought any papers whatsoever because I do have far too many already. These are just offcuts in all of these boxes, and each one is full. Just little scraps. Sometimes there's almost full sheets in here. But every time I cut into a piece, it goes into one of these boxes, and this is where I always go to first for the little bits, rather than cutting into fresh sheets. Can I have a bit of vellum? Got a bit of all sorts in here. And it's surprising when you do just keep your offcuts, how you're going to keep them separate from all your other bits. It's surprising how much you do go back to this box and you do start to use everything from it. Some printed words and things. So this is what I'm going to be using to cover my toilet bowls. Right, first thing is I'll cover the outside of each one. Now you can either do this as two separate panels if you want two completely different pages, or the easier way to do it is just to cover the whole thing all the way around, which is I think what I'm going to do. I'll probably put this part, the covering part, speed it up a little bit because it will be quite boring you just sitting there watching me wrap bits of paper around. Another thing you'll probably notice is I don't do little scissors. These are my favourite scissors. My pink spotted scissors get used for everything, even all that tiny little fussy cutting. They're the scissors I use. And these ones are just bigger. If you've got a bigger piece, I can kind of do the whole cut in one. Not very good with all those fiddly little things. Right, I'm going to get wrapping this. And like I say, I will speed this bit up so you don't have to sit and watch it all. Right, now all of those are covered. As you can see, I don't do measuring, I don't do exact, precise. I'm much more of a let's get it done, stick it down, see what happens. So unfortunately I have no idea what size you need to cut your papers to. It's one of those things I just kind of wing it and make it up as I go along. If you want to know exact sizes and things, then I guess what you'll need to do is measure all of your toilet roll before you start cutting, and then cut your papers to fit exactly. The problem I find that if you're doing wrapping them over like I just have done, if you're going to cut them to size first, they don't always sit quite straight, so sometimes you might find that it sticks at the bottom level, and then as you go round you've got like a big gap at the back, which is why I personally prefer to cover them than cut down to size, because at least I know I'm not going to spend ages sticking and re-sticking to get it to fit exactly how I want it. Okay, the next thing you can do, if you want to, I'm not actually going to do it now, just because this is more just to show you what you can, are used for the toilet rolls rather than how to put this whole thing together. On the inside of each of these, and I'll show you on this, if you see inside each of them I've actually lined them. You can line them all the way down, you could just line them half the way, it's not really like they're they're massively noticeable. Or you could even just get a bit of paint and kind of paint just on the inside of it, but you're going to have to then hold it apart or put something in there to keep it apart just while the paint dries. The next thing is binding. Now this one here, I used a binder tool for putting it all together. Not everybody has a binder tool. Not everybody wants to go and spend that sort of money buying one. And part of me wishes I hadn't brought mine, to be honest. I don't use it that much. I think I got it off eBay for, it was about £10 including the postage and a load of the rings, which I thought at the time was a really good buy, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. Some of you got crocodiles, you know, different ways. There's nothing wrong with a good old hole punch. You could pick these up for, I know over here you could pick these up for like less than £1. Dirt cheap. Now there's several ways. You can either just put one hole in the middle. You could do 2 holes, one either side, which is how I'm going to do for this. Now I don't think this is going to go through both pieces of the card, but in fact actually I'm just going to do the one bind, the one hole. I'm going to make this into a tag one. Just push it in, kind of level it up. Guess it can be helpful. Right, there we go. That's as technical as I ever get. Making a mess, that's what I do best. Yeah, that's close enough. I don't know why I took the bottom off that. So yeah, because I guess when I'm making things, it's normally for me, not really for anybody else, and I'm not too bothered if things turn out a little bit wonky. And I mean, obviously, you know, everybody's different, and if you want your piece to be absolutely 100% perfect, then there's nothing wrong with measuring first and making sure that every line's exactly straight. It's just personal preference. I'm just happy to just play, make a mess. If it turns out a bit, you know, rustic, then that's all good. Alright, last one. No, way off with that one. Okay. And that's oh crikey, been on my course of this hole. There we go. Okay, there's another thing. I've just showed the complete mess of that. I end up with 3 holes instead of 1. What I will do is when I put the binding in, I'll just use something on that to cover that bit up. I certainly wouldn't make another one of these because that's just wasting when there's no need to. And yes, I know, had I measured first I wouldn't have made the mistake, but you know. I'll either cover the top with a different piece of paper just on that bit, or I may do some kind of strip down. I may even just stick a flower or something on it. Mistakes are easy covered up. Okay, so that'll be it. There'll be a, maybe put a, can't think what they're called, like a binding ring through the middle. I may just use a bit of string or ribbon through it. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, that's one use for your toilet bowls that you would have otherwise just thrown in the bin. I hope you found that useful, amusing. I'm not sure. As long as it wasn't completely boring, that's all that matters. Right, be sure to check back again in another couple of weeks, and I'll be having something new up for you to have a look at and have a go at. Thanks for watching.